Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good. All right, my thought of the day is I titled it Staying Grounded on Who You Are Today. And let me start by this. So one of the things I love about Homeboy, what I've experienced here over these last 12 years is a deeper understanding of, really for myself, right? There's this concept of true self and false self, right? And unfortunately, false self we lean on too much. False self is about judgment and seeing the others. It's about ego. And it's a little bit of selfishness, right? But the true self is sort of what God had intended for us, our authentic self, the self that can love us and love others. And so Homeboys really helped all of us, particularly me, sort of understand this as true self versus false self. All right, so I say this because I want to put it in context. So within the last 2 months, I went back east. I grew up back east, and there was a high school reunion. And so I went to our small town outside of New York City. And it was a lot of years since I graduated high school. So the first time I've ever been back to a reunion. And interestingly, I have not been good about keeping in touch with people in my past. I sort of, I don't know, maybe the therapist can help me figure out what's that about in me. But so I walk into the reunion, and it's a small school, so I sort of recognized the names but didn't recognize the people. But as I sat there and talked to my friends from high school, it was interesting to me that we sort of fell into the personalities we had when we were young, along the way, right? And you got into that mindset when you were young. And so also in that prior month, I went back east and we had a family reunion. And in my family, I'm the youngest of 4 kids, right? And so it's even interesting that we sit down and together as a family, but you fall back into that imprint of what you were as a 15, 16-year-old. So fourth of 4, so we defer to my older brother. So I'm the last one to do things. So it's an interesting way humans interact, because what happens when we're young imprints us for a long time. All right, so why do I say all that? That Homeboy really helps us move past our troubles in our past lives and move past that false self that we have. And the beauty about Homeboy is that we help people look forward and treat people for who they are today. That we help people work through their pain. Right? That we're not confined by what happened when we were 15, 16, 17-year-olds. And so that's what happens here at Homeboy. And yet, I also recognize that we all still have families, and we still sometimes go back to the neighborhood. And that trips us up, because we get into that mindset of what we were when we were 14, 15, and 16-year-olds. And oftentimes our family still looks at us like what we were in the past. And yet, I know what we feel like who we are today. And I've also wondered, so if our families can see us today at Homeboy and see the person we are, how they would think about us differently, and how they would kind of view what they need to work on as well. And so here we are. So we're heading into the holidays, and it's full of families and it's full of family drama, and sometimes families kind of, again, view you like your past self, but we don't. And what I love about Homeboy is we don't really dig into people's past. All my 12 years, I've almost never asked anybody about what did you do in your past, tell me about it. And so I so much appreciate just taking people to where they are today and helping, just seeing what they can contribute and how they move forward. And so what I say over the next couple months, so be grounded in who you are today, and look at everybody else with today's eyes as well. Thank you.